Now, as of right now, both Disney and Lucasfilm are going over various plans for the future of the Star Wars franchise and exactly what's going to become a part of the roadmap, leading, of course, to a lot of the fans and the community really gaining a lot of excitement once they unveil these actual plans of theirs by Star Wars Celebration and D23 later this year. However, there is one project that's in the works in particular that is set to break the rules of the Star Wars franchise entirely. Something about this that you may love or hate, and we're going to be going over every single example over exactly what's happening. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, we have seen that there is a common trend happening right now at Star Wars where we are getting different genres provided by different creators. With Andor, we got this spy, thriller type of genre. With Andor, of course, that's something of its own. Then you have, of course, Skeleton Crew, which is more or less of an adventure series. And then you have The Acolyte, which is highly criticized already, which is described as a mystery thriller. You got The Mandalorian, which is almost like traditional Star Wars, very much still kind of intact with that whole space opera, Western style. But one thing that Disney is, of course, locked in right now with the Ahsoka Tano series, that's going to be more around the lines of that fantasy genre. That's going to be, one of the main components of that show. But there's one specific series that Disney and, of course, the executives and Bob Iger, the CEO, are getting ready to greenlight a specific Star Wars show that's going to break the rules of the franchise forever, and this is something that I think a lot of fans are going to love and or hate. So, with Disney and Lucasfilm preparing a long list of upcoming Star Wars projects getting greenlit, one project specifically is noted to actually break the rules of the franchise, as, of course, when we go by genres. One Star Wars show that recently got approved by Disney executives is best described to be a canonized horror story from Star Wars Legends that will be told in the form of a 2-part miniseries. This is a new format that Disney is looking to experiment with, where they will have a short canon story running 2 episodes, 1 full hour each, excluding credits. This one is described to be a story about the Blackwing virus that literally turned many stormtroopers and Imperial crew into zombie-like creatures. Disney is said to be excited about this project that will have a fun, horror tone to the show, and is described to be modeled after a movie such as Doom from 2005, a very small-scale series taking place in one setting on board of a Star Destroyer. The new canon version of this zombie-like virus is said to be something that came directly from Sith alchemy, and was an old attempt from previous Sith lords to reach immortality, stored away for thousands upon thousands of years. This eventually actually fell into the hands of Darth Vader and the Empire, where many eventually got infected when it got loose. So let me just stop here quick for a second. This is a big thing that did happen in Legends. I don't know if you guys are aware, but the Blackwing virus was a real thing in Star Wars, where you had these, they weren't real zombies in the traditional sense, let's be clear about this. But when they got infected or taken over by this Sith alchemy-like power, is that their bodies, when dead, would just reanimate. And basically, it is a zombie in a sense, but it's not like how you think about it from The Walking Dead or something like that. So basically what they're doing is, they're having all of these ideas where this crew and everybody on board of a Star Destroyer gets infected from this outbreak of the Blackwing virus, and eventually infects everybody on board, and this is a power called Sith alchemy. It was an old attempt to create immortality that went wrong and did not necessarily work. And basically what happens is, in Legends, this is something where, a crew was sent in to take them out. This is exactly what Disney wants to do in full canon live-action adaptation in a 2-part miniseries. And they're modeling it after the Doom 2005 movie, which got highly criticized, by the way. But that's not the point. That's the overall style, I guess you could say, that they're aiming for. Small scale, taking place in one particular segment and really just focusing on close quarter combat. Now, the thing about this is that though, of course, Disney and Lucasfilm are very skeptical about this, they are taking the necessary steps to providing this in further canon before they actually drop the live-action adaptation. This, of course, is going to involve a book that is set to release next year that will heavily tell the tales about all of this. Now, instead, of course, on top of this, the style of the horror miniseries is described to focus on a group that comes to vanquish whatever is on board from this outbreak. This is a big pitch happening right now at Lucasfilm, and John and Dave have been approached to take part in the two-part miniseries that Disney wants to do in order to break the rules of the franchise when it comes to tone and style. Now, Star Wars Blackwing is an actual placeholder title for the project that may very well get a new title down the road as it moves ahead with production. Disney, however, wants to actually look for a main writer to be someone experimented with horror films before in the past, or horror televised projects. This is something that they want to drop in the future during the Halloween season. Now, again, it's going to be a very short little mini-series. This is not to be confused with a full-scale show. It's not going to be like 8 episodes or 10 episodes or anything like that, but it's going to be 1 full hour per episode, and specifically 2 episodes total. So it's essentially, if you think about it, a 2-hour movie if you want to look at it that way. You could look at it that way, to be honest. Now, do I think that this is meant for Star Wars? I'm really torn on the idea. I really don't know. I'm not here to judge. I think it may add a very interesting element to Star Wars because we have seen little tiny moments in the franchise where you can tell that horror may work. You know, even in The Rise of Skywalker, you get a small element of that where Dark Rey is coming into the picture, or when Kylo Ren visits Palpatine, and it's got that dark, gritty, horror-esque feel to it, the way the sound effects are done, the music, the voices, stuff like that. That's the overall tone they want to go for, except using this as an actual show. Now, do I think that this sounds a little over the top and a little ridiculous at first? Yes. Do I think it could work if the execution is done correctly? It very well could work, let's be clear. It could very well work and turn into something, very widely accepted. Again, this is Disney's new format that they are approaching for Star Wars, where they're going to be experimenting with different genres or tones, whatever have you, in the form of miniseries, and to kind of test the waters to see what fans like and what fans do not like. If they like it, they'll turn that into more of an actual traditional show. I think it's a very interesting idea at the end of the day of how they want to make this a Halloween-type special thing during the season. So that could also, give them another reason to debut such a thing during the Halloween season. That makes more sense than releasing it around holiday season, like Christmas. So, anyways, it's very interesting, and I would like to hear what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.